Hey, everybody. The Planetary Pulse is back. We are going to be looking at the astrology of May 3rd through May 9th with the lens of what does this mean for growing your sacred business. And we are going to be going over each transit and doing a deep dive on the Pluto retrograde because the inner work of your business and the inner work of your personal healing journey are not separate projects. They are integrated. And this week, Pluto retrograde is really emphasizing that. So, one of the things I teach inside my programs is that the inner work of your business and your own inner healing work are not separate. The way you probably heard, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So when there is incongruence between who you say you are in your business to the world and who you are inside, that dissonance is unsustainable. And Pluto has a way of showing us that raw truth one way or another. And it is typically a lot less painful if we choose to look within ourselves. So Pluto retrograde is a very potent time to do that work. So this week, I'm going to show you exactly what it is asking you to look at. And we are going to run through the full week of transits together, do that Pluto retrograde deep dive and what it means in Aquarius right now, what it means for you right now. And I will close with a journal prompt to help you integrate before the week is out. So we are coming off a full moon in Scorpio that just happened May 1st. So you may still be integrating the insights. You may still be in this process of releasing. The full moon illuminated what is transforming. So, whatever has been building in your business beneath the surface, maybe it's been an offer that isn't working, isn't aligned, a client relationship that feels off, an unspoken truth. Scorpio full moons have a way of bringing that to the surface and asking us to be really honest with ourselves. So part of that full moon was a Mercury conjunct Chiron in Aries, which was at the same degree as the Aries new moons, 27 degrees. And so there is something in our own healing story of transformation that has been illuminated. So that pain that you have been through and that you've made it to the other side. This is your message. And this transit supports getting visible in ways that feel vulnerable, but are really powerful. Okay. Just wanted to bring that energy in, even though it happened a couple of days ago, still very much present. So Mercury has just entered the sign of Taurus, May 3rd, and will travel through this sign through the 17th. So we've been coming out of this fast moving, fiery Mercury in Aries. You may have been feeling really direct, really spicy, maybe in the way you are communicating. And now in Taurus, we are slowing down, becoming more deliberate in our thinking, in our messaging, in a really juicy, pleasurable way. So, thinking about the way our garden grows day by day, I've been really enjoying my garden this season and just noticing each day new little blossoms of growth. So, noticing that how things are blooming in the day to day. Mercury and Taurus wants us to sink into the value, the substance of our message, of our story, of our offer. So, this is a good couple of weeks to really embody what it is you are sharing in your business. So, on May 5th, Mars in Aries will square Jupiter in Cancer. And so, this is a tense aspect where you may feel called to really push forward with a lot of action. There's this desire to move fast, whereas Jupiter in Cancer really wants us to nurture, move at the pace of trust. So just be mindful for a potential for overextension, for impulsive decisions. Think about, how is this going to impact my relationships in my business? So there is an invitation to tap into that bold energy, but really coming from a place of also honoring the foundation of your relationships, your clients, your community, your own energy. Also on May 5th, we get another square with Mercury in Taurus square Pluto in Aquarius. So this is a time of deep, penetrating thought. You may find yourself maybe getting a bit obsessive in your thoughts. And there's also a way in which communications can reveal hidden dynamics. So you may find yourself with a desire to really say something that you've been holding back, or maybe you hear something that creates a deep shift in your perspective. So this could be a good day for hard conversations that need to happen, especially when you are staying grounded with that Mercury and Taurus. Okay, so the big transit of the week is Pluto stationing retrograde on May 6th at 5 degrees of Aquarius. So Pluto is the slowest moving planet that we track in astrology, and therefore it has the deepest transformative power. And so when it stations, whether direct or retrograde, it's coming to a standstill. And so that slow transformative process really intensifies. An astrologer I love, Tagorda, used this metaphor of thinking about a deep tissue massage where the massage therapist is like just finding that trigger point and just digging in and just sitting there and like waiting for it to release. So this can feel really tender. It can feel intense. It can feel painful the way that, a deep tissue massage can bring those underlying tensions to the surface. And knowing that in this kind of pressurized moment, there is potential for release. And so with the Pluto moving retrograde, you may be returning to a healing process that is not yet complete. So, we've made progress in our healing journey with Pluto in Aquarius. And now Pluto is asking you to go back another round and go deeper. So wherever Pluto is transiting in your chart, particularly if this is activating a planet by degree in one of the fixed signs, so Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, or Leo, this is going to feel particularly intense. And with Pluto in Aquarius, this 20-year transit is revealing the underbelly of this rapid technological change that we are all just, the precipice of that has already begun, and who knows where it's going to lead us. But really, on the surface, see all of the exciting things about technological advances, and Pluto saying, okay, what are the power dynamics underneath that? And there certainly is a lot happening underneath the surface of all of these big advances in AI and space travel and all of that. There's also this potential to tap into the hidden power of collectives with Pluto in Aquarius, really understanding that when people come together in networks, our power is expansive and more powerful than perhaps we understand in kind of this isolated mythos of everybody kind of doing it for themselves. So the question that Pluto is posing to us now is, are you using the tools of this era, AI, social media, digital community, in a way that supports genuine human connection, empowerment, or in a way that distances you from it? So this also feels like an invitation to return to your own inner technology, the ancient systems of your body, your energy system, the intuitive wisdom that predates any algorithm. Really thinking about the inner work of your business, because as I said, the inner work of your business is not separate from your personal inner healing work. They are integrated. And often, creating a business and growing in that way does surface things that maybe we haven't fully examined. The sense of imposter syndrome, like where does that come from? Comparing ourselves to others. When we step into a business and let ourselves be seen and vulnerable in our truth, that is a part of our own healing journey. So, when you are showing up authentically in your business, this gets reflected back in your personal relationships, in your healing journey, in the way you show up in your community and family, and vice versa, right? So when you're showing up authentically in your personal life, that also supports you doing the same in your business. So when there is an incongruence between how you're showing up in your business and what's actually true for you inside, that becomes an energy leak and it isn't sustainable. And Pluto will reveal that, especially in these moments when its energy is intensifying. So, a client story that I wanted to share, that somebody in my Sacred Business Alchemy group coaching program has really been taking this work to heart, because she spent a lot of time struggling, just trying to do things, the way she had been told how to do them. Um, by kind of picking a niche that looks good on paper, that in theory should be successful, by doing the like daily Facebook reels. And it wasn't working. She wasn't having fun. She wasn't getting results. And so it wasn't about the niche or the posting more that really created the shift. But what it was coming back to her inner truth. And rather than starting from this question of what should I be doing? What's an external force telling me is the right thing to do? She started tuning in to her own body, her own really powerful intuition. And with each business decision she made, she asked, does this feel aligned with what's true for me? And the results really spoke for themselves. She found a community online that really embraced her and that she felt she could show up with generosity. And she's been getting all kinds of new clients who become repeat clients, who, she's got a list of people who want to work with her now. So that's a really great example of how when you start with that inner alignment, oftentimes the rest just kind of clicks into place. So Pluto retrograde, it's about, not about burning everything down that you've created, but it's about taking a real honest look at, how are you showing up in your business and what is true for you inside. And if those are misaligned, then this is a time to close that gap. And then just a thing to say about retrogrades. Yes, retrogrades are a time to pause, to turn energy inward, but that doesn't mean that you need to halt everything in your business. It means that the inner work is what's going to be what drives that forward momentum. And the flavor of your action might shift, the rhythm of your action might shift. You might slow down and be more deliberate and more internally referenced. But that doesn't mean that you can't be making sales, signing new clients, showing up. And what you do want to do with retrograde windows is reflect back. And, retrograde, Pluto, again, is the slowest moving planet. So the retrograde period is going to go on for months. But this can be a time to really intentionally start from that place of internal alignment. So check your chart. See where 5 degrees of Aquarius or the fixed signs are landing for you. That house will tell you, or planets in that house will tell you what area of life or business is getting the most Pluto pressure right now. So let's wrap it up with the last transit of the week, and then I'm going to leave you with a journaling prompt. So we get a last quarter moon in Aquarius on May 9th. And so this directly ties in with the Pluto retrograde transit we just talked about. And the last quarter moon is about release. It's about letting go and simplifying. It kind of mirrors that energy of turning inwards. And so asking, what systems or beliefs or structures are you still operating from that no longer serve the collective vision you're building toward. So, this is a good moment for pruning, for editing, for weeding, for letting go. Okay, so a prompt that you can journal on for the Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Where in my business am I performing a version of myself that is smaller or safer or more palatable than what is actually true and reflective of my true power? And what would I do differently if I trusted that my full truth was the strategy? All right. If this resonates, if you are feeling pulled to design and create and grow something that is actually aligned with who you are, not just what the market says you should be, I want to invite you to my free Intuition to Income workshop. It is exactly what it sounds like, a workshop designed around the idea that your intuition is not the opposite of creating success in your business. It is the foundation of it. So the link to sign up is in the description. Come join us. And if you found this week's Planetary Pulse useful, drop a comment below. Tell me which transit is hitting your chart the most intensely this week. I read everyone. All right. Well, I will see you next time and take good care.